Hi everyone, it's so good to be here with you again. As often is the case, I'm recording this after my sessions with clients, and I was just thinking how blessed I feel. I love all of my clients and I love helping them get clarity. You know how awesome that is when I have this experience with my coach where I walk in confused or feeling heavy or trying to figure something out, and then I leave feeling lighter and clear and focused, and that's how my clients leave as well. And of course, as you serve, you're blessed, and I don't have to tell you this because you have experienced this as a helper. So but what I wanted to talk about is something that came up a lot, has come up really for years, but it's been coming up a lot lately, is just really letting go of that role of carrying other people's pain. And this is such a sneaky little role that as helpers we can take on. Because the truth is, as a helper, you are here, a lot of what you do is here to be attuned to the pains of the world, to help people get out of pain, to, help people transform their lives, to be an example of what's possible, to create solutions, right? So that can easily feel like it's your job to take on people's pain, even if you don't consciously think that. And so I know I've talked about this in all sorts of different ways, but I'm going to talk about it again because it's important, it's essential. And so what I found myself doing a lot with clients today was really inevitably, and what was interesting today, that it was this layer of carrying people's pain, like of people that you love, right? Like family members. And that can be harder, right? Like that can be, because that can feel like, well, it is my responsibility to carry my kid's pain or my partner's pain, but it actually isn't. And I would think most of you probably know that on a conscious level, but in your subconscious, so that part of the mind that we're not aware of, there could be like a job title. Think of it that way. Like you signed up as, part of what I do is I carry people's pain. Even if consciously you are thinking, no, I know that is not my job. I know that isn't healthy. I know that's not what I came here to do. Subconsciously, you might have a job title like that, like you signed a contract, right? Of like, oh, this is what I do. So it's important if you find yourself feeling heavy or just having a sense that you're carrying other people's pain, then chances are that on a subconscious level, that's exactly what you're doing. And because you are highly intuitive and sensitive and have an open heart, it could easily feel like you're designed to carry other people's pain, but you're not. And so I want to offer you, obviously there's a lot of tools, and I teach my clients, I work with their parts, because what can happen, even if it's on a subconscious level, you might also have a part that feels that that's what it means to be loving, or is scared that whoever's pain you're carrying, that they can't handle it. So it's your job to carry it. I mean, so many things. So I help my clients to find their parts. I take them through this process to identify where they feel these parts in their body, to befriend their parts, to what we call unblend from them, to unburden them, right? I also talk about energy sovereignty, which I've talked in these videos as well. There's many tools, but in this moment, I will share one of the most powerful and important ones and simplest one, which is your intention. You intending. The amount of times that I have texted my clients after the session, the affirmation, I am no longer willing to carry other people's pain. So many times. And please know, the reason I know this so deeply is because I've literally lived that. That's something I have to be so conscious of, because it can be easy for me to go to that place. But I've practiced so much, I've used the tools that I teach my clients so deeply that it happens very, very few times now. Which is why, sometimes clients will be like, oh, I'm sorry, I know it was really heavy today. And I'm like, no, you don't have to apologize. I don't feel heavy. Like I'm not carrying it. Because I've been able to do that work. And one of the first things is that intention. It's like basically you're telling your subconscious, hey, subconscious, I know for some reason, many reasons, and you don't need to analyze and go into all that unless it's helpful, but that's also a sneaky way our ego mind just distracts us. Let me analyze this forever and ever and ever, where all you could literally say is, okay, subconscious mind, I know we have some sort of job title in there that we carry other people's pain, but that is no longer the job. Like I am no longer willing to carry other people's pain. And just affirm that. Write it, say it, repeat it. You might discover that there's certain situations where you have to say it more, where you're like, maybe you have mastery with your clients. Maybe it's very clear with your clients that that's not what you do. But then you go to a family gathering and you're like, oh my gosh, you leave feeling like, ugh, because unconsciously, subconsciously, that happened, right? So again, there's no shame. This is so normal. And yet, as a sovereign helper that you are, that we're all striving to continue to be more and more sovereign, because that's the type of helper the world needs, it is our job to keep affirming, I'm no longer willing to carry other people's pain. I'm no longer willing. Because when you say that, it is the most selfless thing. Because what that means is you are committing to having a clear energy field, to keep your channel open, your intuitive channel, to connect with spirit, to connect with your soul, so that you can be the most impactful and helpful to your people. That is why it is selfless. When we aren't aware and we are carrying people's pain, we're congested. It's like we're full of congestion. Even if we're incredibly intuitive, there is no way that we can access the full extent of our gifts, of our knowledge, of our resourcefulness if we're carrying other people's pain. And again, this is nothing to judge or shame yourself for. It's so much compassion. And then awareness, because with awareness, then it's like, oh, okay, you affirm that, and then the universe is going to bring you the tools. Or maybe you have the tools already. What I often find is when clients come for consults, which by the way, I offer free sovereignty consult. I open more slots in November, so I'll put the link in the comments page if you want. If you'd like to meet with me privately, it is a free consultation. I would love to talk to you. Anyway, often in the conversation, people might say, I do feel so heavy, but I do all the things. I meditate, I visualize, I do self-Reiki on myself, I burn sage, all of the things. And it's not that any of those things are wrong, but often the reason it's not helping fully is because there is still that pattern in the subconscious. So that subconscious rewiring is so essential. And really the first simplest step is affirming, I'm no longer willing to carry other people's pain. And then I would say the next level is working with your parts, those different parts of you. It's not just the inner child, it's inner children, it's inner adults. And some of those parts might be attached to carrying people's pain. Maybe that's how they were loved in youth. People loved them because, that might have been a role you had, like, oh, you make me feel better. And that's how you received care or love or attention. Again, nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to judge yourself for, but to bring awareness, because as we come to the end of this year of the snake, we are continuing to shed these old identities that do not serve us, because you are meant to rise up and be this helper, creator, visionary, therapist, wellness professional, whatever title, that is unencumbered by these old identities, so that you can have the most impact, so that you can serve from a place of overflow, so that you can be an example of what's possible, so that you can walk through the world with all the madness that appears to be happening in the world, with all the polarity, and you could be that pillar of peace and light. But that can't be done, that can't be faked. That has to be so genuine and authentic, and the only way that happens is when we release what isn't ours. So I'm going to leave you with that. Oh no, actually I'm going to say on the 20th, this month's masterclass is From Shedding to Shining, Embodying Your Sovereign Helper Self. I would love to see you. It's a free masterclass. I'm going to talk about creating routines and rhythms during your day to really anchor in this new identity, right? Because it sounds great to say, okay, I'm going to embody my sovereign helper self, but how does that actually happen? It happens through day-to-day choices. So we're going to be talking about that, and really, how do you like make space for your shiny new skin, right? All right, I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.